Hey everybody, this is Ryan McClanahan with historythroughcards.com. Hope you're all doing very good today. So I was surfing eBay as I usually do, trying to find stuff to pick up and looking at cards, and I came across a really interesting card from the 1928 Salem cigarettes set. It's a set that's coming out of Germany, and I don't know a whole lot about it yet. I'm actually kind of surprised that anything from like the 1920s or 30s has made it out of Germany, to tell you the truth, with World War II. But um, I came across a really interesting card from this set, Betty Robinson, and the card is the number one card in the set. And I was like, this is really, really cool. First off, it looks something like this. And so I didn't know who Betty Robinson was. And usually the number one card in the set is reserved for like very special athletes or people. And so Betty must have been a very special athlete. And I wanted to find out a little bit more about her. I came across a couple of articles here that I think you're going to find really fascinating. I'll share my thoughts at the end of this video on Betty Robinson because I don't want to ruin it for you guys if you don't know who this is. Um, I didn't, but this is one of the reasons why I actually collect cards, and it's just not about the card, it's about the person on the card that really kind of interests me. And she has a really fascinating story. So here we go. This is from the National Post, Toronto, Ontario, Canada, May 22nd, 1999. Track and field star hailed as fastest woman in the world. Betty Robinson Schwartz, who in 1928, as a 16-year-old high school student, became the first woman to win an Olympic gold medal in track and field, has died at age 87. Mrs. Robinson's life story, which included prodigious athletic glory, a life-threatening accident, and an amazing Olympic comeback, reads like a product of an overly imaginative screenwriter. In 1928, the year Amelia Earhart became the first woman to fly across the Atlantic, female track and field athletes were allowed to compete in the Olympics for the first time. A week after qualifying in the Olympic trials, Miss Robinson and her teammates sailed to Amsterdam, working out on a quarter-mile linoleum track laid around the ship's deck. In Amsterdam, she finished second in her trial and first in her semifinal, and became the only American to reach the finals. The favorite to win was Fanny Rosenfeld of Canada. Although the finals finish was close, the judges declared Miss Robinson the winner in an official time of 12.2 seconds. Because the 100-meter race was the first of five women's track and field events at the 1928 Games, Mrs. Robinson had won the first gold medal handed out in her sport. When the flag went up after the race, she said, "I started crying like a baby." Fanny Rosenfeld and her Canadian teammates later defeated Miss Robinson and the American team in the 400-meter relay, with the U.S. team taking the silver. The 1928 Games would mark only the fourth meet of Miss Robinson's career, just 4 months after she took up the sport at age 16. Elizabeth Babe Robinson was born on August 23, 1911, in Riverdale, Illinois, a small town south of Chicago. Her career started when her biology teacher, who was also the assistant track coach, saw her running for a commuter train. The legend is that she caught it. She later ran 50 yards for him in the school corridor, and a track career began. These were the nascent days of organized women's track and field at the national level. As she told an interviewer in 1984, "I had no idea that women even ran then. I grew up a hick. That is when I found out that they actually had track meets for women." 3 weeks after being discovered, Miss Robinson made her racing debut in a regional meet and finished second to the U.S. record holder in the 100 meters. In her next meet, the Olympic trials, she equaled the world record of 12 seconds. In her third meet, the US final trials, she finished second and made the Olympic team. After Miss Robinson won the gold, Douglas MacArthur, then the president of the American Olympic Committee, presented her with a small gold charm shaped like the world. Hailed as the fastest woman in the world, when she returned home, she was honored by ticker tape parades down Broadway in New York and State Street in Chicago. In her hometown, she received a diamond watch from an adoring public and a silver cup from her high school. She was still a world class athlete when a biplane she was flying in with her cousin crashed near Chicago in 1931. She was presumed dead and taken into the trunk of a car for a nearby mortician. Both survived, and Miss Robinson spent 3 months in hospital with severe head injuries and a broken leg and arm. A silver rod and pin were inserted to stabilize the leg, which was placed in a hip to heel cast. For 4 months she was in a wheelchair or on crutches, and the leg became a half-inch shorter. If I had not been in such good physical condition, she said, I would not have lived through it. As it was, she was out of competition for 3.5 years. When she tried a comeback in 1936, she could not bend the knee, so she had to make a standing rather than a crouching start in the 100 meters. Still, she made the Olympic relay team. This time in Berlin, the American team, with Miss Robinson running the third leg, captured the gold when a member of the record-setting German team fumbled the baton pass before the third handoff. Miss Robinson had made an improbable comeback. In 1939, she married Richard Schwartz, who owned an upholstery firm. They had 2 children. After retiring from competition, she devoted the rest of her life to her family and working to promote women athletes. She was also a coach, timer, and public speaker. She never received the public adulation lavished on such American successors as Babe Didrikson, Wilma Rudolph, and Florence Griffith Joyner. Years after her Olympic triumphs, she said, I suppose most people don't even recognize me. It happened so long ago. I still can't believe the attention I get for something I did so long ago. She is survived by her daughter and son, and that's by Frank Litsky of the New York Times. The story is even more amazing than what you're going to read in the newspapers at the time. She was actually declared dead and she woke up in the morgue. And after she had her operation, the doctor said that she would never run again, let alone walk. And just through sheer determination and her character, she defied all odds to go to the 1936 Olympic Games in Berlin and face off against the Nazis. And, where's her story, Hollywood? Hello, guys. If there was anybody here that I think deserves a movie, it's her. I know there's a book out on her life. I haven't read it because I just found out about her. How many other people don't know Betty Robinson's story? I just found out about it for the first time, and I think it's incredible. And there'd be a great number of people, I think, that would want to see a movie made on her life. She is an incredible lady, and it's one of the reasons why I'd love to have a card of hers in my collection. Just because of her story alone, she won 2 gold medals, one in 1928 in Amsterdam, and just the story of her becoming a gold medalist in the first place in 1928 and how that started is kind of fascinating to me. I can't run. Even when I could run, I was really bad at it. I can barely walk now, and I'm kind of jealous of people who can walk and run. And so, like, I look from the sidelines and I see guys like Obviously Jesse Owens, just an absolute speed demon. George Case of the Washington Senators, another very, very fast uh, ball player. And then on top of it, this is really interesting that she is the first woman to become a gold medalist. And how did that happen? I think that's really fascinating too. So, I mean, guys, she's the perfect role model, I think, for women in general, and not just women, but people who think that they can't accomplish something. If you will accomplish things if you try. Obviously, she worked her tail off to get to where she was through determination, and I think that you guys can do that too. And it doesn't have to be like sports cards or running or anything like that. You know, a little bit of hard work goes a long way. I mean, just look at your collections if you collect cards. And I know some people out there who are watching this don't particularly collect cards, but they probably have come across my channel and like, what is this? So anyway, um, this is a great story. She is the Phoenix, and guys, I think she has a lot to teach us today about determination and the sheer will and strength of character to succeed. And I really want to add a card of hers to my collection. In fact, she has two cards that I'm aware of. She has a 1928 Salem, and then she has another 1936, I guess, Olympic card from Berlin, and that's with her team in 1936. The 1936 Olympic Games are a fascinating study all to themselves, and I know you have Jesse Owens who kind of takes over the 1936 Berlin Olympics, and for good reason too. He does have a lot of cards out there, and I'll probably talk about Jesse Owens. Recently, his cards have gone up and they've spiked, and it's about time to tell you the truth. And I'm not entirely sure they spiked because of the movie Race, which if you guys haven't seen that movie, I highly recommend it. It is a great movie as far as I'm concerned. But then again, I'm not a movie critic, but I think you guys would enjoy that. I just want to know where the movie is for Betty Robinson here. So Hollywood, wake up! Let's get a movie going, guys. Anyway, thank you so much for stopping by. I greatly appreciate it as always. Let me know what you think about Betty Robinson and her story. Until next time, I'll talk to you later. Bye.